Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be drawing a tile with just 2 tangles on it. I'm going to choose Shattuck, which is a Zentangle tangle, headquarters tangle, and my tangle HEARTZ N PEARLZ for the second tangle. So what you're seeing here are the supplies that I'm going to use, and that's the Micron 01 or a PN. I sometimes use both. Today I'm using also a pencil, graphite pencil, and a tortillon for blending the graphite. This is a Zentangle 3.5 inch square tile, and we're going to turn it over and start by taking a deep breath or two just to kind of settle myself and so, as always, I'm going to start with my 4 dots in corners. I'm going to connect the dots. And you notice I turn the tile so that I'm using the same motion as I connect those dots. The next thing I'm going to draw is a string, and that's going to give me a place to put my tangles or my patterns. This is going to be a pretty simple string. It's going to be just a couple of curved lines, and then a couple more, like that. Pretty simple. They can be placed anywhere you want, but I'm going to suggest you have 2 different areas of curved lines that kind of go together. I won't say parallel, but go together. Now I'm going to start with my 01 pen, and I'm going to draw Shattuck first. We're going to draw that here in this area here, and you know, I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to draw 1 row of my HEARTZ N PEARLZ tangle first. I'm going to draw that on this curved line right here. And I'm going to start up here at the top. It's a pretty simple tangle. There's a couple out there that look similar, but they are not drawn like this at all, and I believe that makes mine a new tangle. So I'm going to use this line as my center point of my tangle, which is kind of a ribbon tangle or a string tangle. At least that's how I'm going to use it here. And I'm going to draw a heart. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space, and I'm going to draw another heart. And I'm going to go down this row, or this line, and make a row of these hearts, leaving just a little bit of space in between. And don't fret over how much space is left, because it doesn't really matter. A lot of space, a little space, you can even squish them all together and it'll still look good. Again, I'm turning my tile just a little bit as I get to the bottom of this curve. And put 1 more here. It's going to kind of go outside the corner. I'm going to go back to the top of my string, or my line, string line, I guess. And I'm now going to draw another kind of like an aura around each one of these hearts, and that's where they're going to connect. It's going to start at the center point and it's going to end at the center point. So it's not an aura exactly because it touches at each end, but you kind of get the idea. This one here is going to go up, so you kind of see how that kind of takes care of itself. There's really no more space between these 2 hearts. If you have extra space, don't worry about it. I'll show you how to fix fix that or give you some options. I'm not going to say fix because we have no mistakes when we use the Zentangle method. But there are ways to make things look more to your liking. That's how I'll say it. I'm going to make, I just drew a line down to the corner to make it look like it's coming up from the bottom. And if you want, we could even draw a part of a heart here. So it's going off the page. Now we have, up here we have enough space. We could do another one if we wanted. But let's see. I'm going to go ahead and draw the line off of my tile. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but I'll figure it out as I go. Okay, so now that's the hearts part of the Hearts and Pearls. The next thing we're going to do is the pearl, which is a black pearl to give some drama or contrast, and we're going to put that in the center of each of these hearts. I'm using my PN pen now because it's got a little bit fatter tip and it'll go just a little bit faster. So I'm going to start here. Take your time also as you're working on this. Remember, this is it's about the process as much as it is about the end result. So there's my first one. I'm going to go ahead and fill all of the rest of them in. And then I'll just be quiet now and let you work if you're working along. Okay, now I have my pearls. I'm going to switch back to my 01 pen. Sometimes I forget that. And I'm going to do the Shattuck section next. So I'm just going to use these pencil lines to be the border line, the exterior border line, if you will, of that tangle Shattuck. And it kind of flares out, which is okay. I'm going to keep it stopping at my border on the bottom, but going out to the edges on what looks like the top. Remember, there really is no bottom or top. Now you see I'm aura-ing that line. I'm going to do this one. And again, I turn so that I can try to be consistent with my lines. Drawing as if these hearts are open and the tangle is behind, going through the center of that, this particular heart there. So that is my first line. I think I'm going to draw another in the center, just so that I can have an extra section, I guess. Around it over this line. Two areas to fill in Shattuck. I'm going to do something a little different. Normally, I would look at this like this is the top, but I'm going to start this tangle as if this is the top, just to see what it's going to look like, because why not? So I'm going to, now I've got my sections, I'm going to work down this one and then I'll come back and work down this one. And what I'm going to do is just a ever slightly curved line diagonally down to making kind of a triangle section there. And then I'm going to fill that in with auras above it. I think I might do this though, make it easier for me to see the line. Now I'm going to come back here and I'm going to do the same thing in the other direction and fill it in, and you notice that now I'm meeting this line right here, the edge of the first section, and you have that contrast because the line is going in the opposite direction. Turning it back, and again the same thing. Takes a little bit of focus, yes. Kind of guessing here as to where these lines will be behind the hearts, but the good news is that you can guess and eye's not going to be concerned about whether or not it's perfect behind there. It's just going to fill that in with information. It's amazing how much your eyes do in terms of your brain, actually, in terms of interpreting information all day. Just okay, come back here to the top, and you're going to do this section just like you did the other. That might be a little too curved, but we'll see. There's no mistakes, so mine are not going to line up. I don't care all that much. Probably could have made them line up, but that's okay. No mistakes, right? And by line up, what I was talking about was lining up this line to this line so that these would mirror each other. They're going to be off a little bit, but I don't care. This one will be closer. Again, the challenge of drawing behind. Just put a couple lines in there to get that illusion. And I keep going back and forth. Hopefully you're not getting dizzy watching. But it does make my lines look a little better, so. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't try to line that up because this section's much thinner than this section, and it would have been impossible to line that up because of that, so it's going to be just fine. Okay, and that is Shattuck. And now I'm going to do another, because I still have this other line here for my hearts and pearls. So we're going to pretend like this line here is coming from behind. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw this line in pencil. I mean in pen. And it's okay because we're going to fill in the centers with these pearls. So, in that way, I'm gonna start up here at the top again. Let's start up here, kind of on that border line, because that's what I did on the other one. This one is going to have room for some more. Something here in between the hearts. This one I had them closer, But this one, I've got some space here. And so what I'm going to do with that is I am going to put just a little black pearl in here. And another one in here. Okay, now I'll switch to my pen so I can do the bigger hearts in the center of this. Oops, that's not my pen. Didn't even grab it. There we go. Okay. Now you notice I make these circles of white, or that I don't put ink on, in each one of these pearls, and that's called a sparkle highlight, if you will, with imagine light reflecting, and that is what kind of gives it the illusion of being three-dimensional. And it just amazes me how that one little sparkle can make something look more than just two-dimensional. But it works. Okay, here we go. Oops, the sparkle over here on that one. Well, that's okay. Too, or get rid of this one. Yeah, that kind of nice thing about these orbs, or black pearls, I'll call them in this case, is that when it's very forgiving. I just kind of made this overlap the heart shape there because it wasn't quite round enough for me. That's okay, because if it was actually round, it might do that. Imagine. So there we have it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish this in with another heart. I mean, pearl. Gee whiz. It's early here where I'm at, and I haven't had my first cup of coffee yet. One over here. I'll do another one. And maybe I'll do another one or two here. Cover up that line. You could do these extra heart or extra pearls in gold ink or a metallic ink if you wanted. It'd be fine. I'm not even going to put a sparkle on the top there. If I choose, I can always go back. Excuse me. So I'm done with my tangles, but I like sometimes to play around with the borders a little bit. So I am going to go back to my old one pen. I usually forget that, so I'm trying to remember. And I'm going to use my border lines and draw a little frame around this. Okay, so let's do this. Start here. Swirly thing there. And I'm going to come back up here and go this direction. Now let's do some shading. So I'm going to put my pen down, I'm going to get my pencil out, and we're going to start with Hearts and Pearls. There's lots of different ways you can shade these things, but what I usually like to do is put a little bit at each of the points. Kind of like under the pearl. And try not to get too much graphite on the pearls because it'll actually make them look a little duller. Doesn't get black darker, it actually makes it lighter. So we're going to start by blending that in at the bottom. I'm using fresh, clean tortillon, so I don't have any graphite on it to play around with right now. That's okay. Now I am going to use at least what I have on the tip of my tortillon to start with, but I'll probably have to add some graphite. And then just a little bit on the curve of each of these hearts. Yeah, I think I'm going to need more graphite. That's okay. Maybe by then I'll have enough. So I don't want to put too much down. So I'm trying to give these hearts some dimension is what I'm doing with this graphite, and some contrast to make you see it, distinguish it a little easier from the background. Very soft, but it's okay. Trying to use the side of the tip and not the tip. That's starting to work a little better. It's kind of like breaking in a tortillon. I don't know if you've ever thought about that, but sometimes it takes a little using to actually get it working good. A little bit of graphite on that tortillon to make it slide around. Try to reach down and get some graphite from what I originally laid down. I can do that too. And I think I'm going to have to put some more on. That's okay. Just a little bit. Okay, now another thing you can do when you're shading these, if these are open, which they are because you saw me drawing behind when I was drawing Shattuck, you can put just a little bit on the underside of the top and keep it close to the pencil line. Now here, I'm going to go around even more because I've got some pattern underneath it. I want to bring contrast to that. Okay. can't really see this, I don't think, but as I'm going down, I'm kind of rotating my tortillon so that I can blend it a little more evenly, and it also puts graphite on my tortillon to blend a little more evenly as well. It might not have made sense, but it made sense in my head at the time. So when I first started drawing Zentangle, I was very heavy-handed at everything. Shading, ink, I broke several pens because of it. That's okay. I probably always will be a little bit more heavy-handed than I should, but that's just me and my style now. It's what I think of it as. I mention that here because it's easy to get too much graphite on this pattern, this tangle pattern with the hearts. And, you know, you want some contrast, so you need to leave white space as well. So you've got shading around the hearts inside, making them look a little poofy maybe. And then you've got a little shading underneath to give it some separation from the background. So that's the HEARTZ N PEARLZ tangle by me, Brenda Campbell, CZT. Now we're going to shade Shattuck, and we're going to start by putting a little bit of graphite on the inside aura line of the tangle. We're going to do that to all 4 of the sides. Well, I guess there'll be 4. Because this one gets graphite on both sides. Don't overdo it. It's a small tangle. I mean, a small space with a tangle, and there's a lot of shading that can be done, so. Okay, that should be good for now. And you notice as I'm blending this in, I'm kind of pulling it towards the middle, the tangle, away from this line here, this border, and that actually helps it to pop out, which is kind of cool. Gives us the contrast. That's what shading's all about, is finding contrast. I'm gonna go around the other side. And a little bit more shading if I choose. But I'm going to be careful that I just don't make it too dark. I could leave it like that. I really only shaded every other one, but that bothered me, so now I'm going to add the other ones. Okay, that's a lot of shading for Shattuck. You don't have to do that much because this was not terribly large. You could have just shaded these with the 4 shading line on the sides, and that would have been fine. But I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that for now. And now I'm going to draw just a little bit more, add a little bit more graphite for contrast where these 2 tangles meet. These hearts meet up here. Let's see. So I want to separate my hearts and pearls tangle from the Shattuck, and I'm going to do that by adding this shading right at the edge, so that you can kind of see now. Went over the line here, so I'll blend that back in a little bit more. And I'll come over here. Okay, that's a lot of graphite, and it's not my best work, but there's no mistakes. The last thing I'm going to do is a little bit of graphite shading, if you will, underneath my ribbon of Shattuck, separating it from the background. To get a little bit of shadow here. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that. And now I'm going to add my chop. Over. Oh, is it the 22nd? It is. HEARTZ N PEARLZ and Shattuck. With lots of graphite. Hopefully you have not used as heavy a hand as I did, but it's okay. I still see possibility. I like to turn it around, look at it from all different directions. I hope you enjoyed watching me draw this tile. I hope you'll try it yourself. And if you do, I hope you will use the hashtag Angel Choir Mosaic. There it is right there. When you post your tiles. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and happy tangling. Bye.